What is up, everybody? This is Common Sense Thoughts, spitting straight logic to expand your knowledge. The topic of today's video is going to be 3 common myths that you encounter when talking about rape culture. When talking about rape culture, there's several myths that you can encounter, but I just picked the top 3 that I see most commonly used. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first myth that I hear when talking about rape culture is that people don't automatically believe the victim. The statement in and of itself isn't a myth, but the conclusion that they draw is. They say, oh, people don't automatically believe victims of rape, therefore rape culture. Like I said before, the statement in and of itself is not a myth. However, the presumption of innocence of the accused party is not special to cases of rape. In fact, it is the very basis of our justice system. The concept of innocence until proven guilty is the very basis for how the court system functions. The way the justice system works, a person has to be proven guilty before they can be convicted of a crime. It would seem then that people who bring up this argument have less of a problem with the culture and more of a problem with the way the justice system works. To that I would say, if you have a problem with the way the justice system works here in America, if I were you, I would move to a country where Sharia law is in effect. I'm sure that they are much more fair in their doling out of punishments. The next most commonly encountered myth when discussing rape culture is the false statistic that 1 in 5 women will be raped on a college campus. There's not much to say about this other than that it's just wrong. The people who conducted the study that produced these results claimed themselves that they used very vague terminology when asking the questions, so they basically disavowed the findings. However, it's still frequently brought up when discussing rape culture, so I thought it was pertinent to discuss. The last and arguably most ridiculous myth is that we need to teach boys not to rape. I find this one sort of comical just because I feel like you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone in America who teaches their child that it is acceptable to rape. In fact, I don't think there's ever been a time in American history where people have taught their young men that it is okay to rape. I think it's logical to assume that most people who rape know that what they're doing is bad, but just don't care. Therefore, teaching boys to not rape is not really going to do anything to prevent rapes. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we shouldn't teach boys to not rape, but I think that's already being done, so I don't think bringing it up as if it's not being done is going to help anything. Just as a final point, I don't see how people can claim that we live in a rape culture when people actively get punished for raping people. When you think of rape culture, generally you would imagine a culture that lets rape go unpunished and doesn't condemn rape. However, the exact opposite is true in our society, so to claim that rape culture exists in our society is an illogical point to make. Well, that's going to be it for this video. Until next time, this is Common Sense Thoughts, signing off.